Hello and welcome to Demian Allan's Astrology channel. This is going to be the astrological forecast for October 2022. So I'm going to be looking at the planets to look out for, key dates, and what's going to happen over the next 4 weeks. So if you like this particular video, press the like button, and if you like the channel, please subscribe. It really does help in building up word about astrology. Okay, now we start off very bumpy, and as I expected, when I was focusing on the year ahead in 2022, September would be a difficult month, and has been, and October as well being a difficult month, although there are glimmers of little bits of hope coming in here, and that's what we're going to focus on as well. So we start off with lots of planets that are retrograde, but planets are going to be moving forward. And the big news is that on the 2nd of October, the planet Mercury, which has been retrograde, is going to be moving direct around about just after 10 a.m. GMT time. And this is significant. It moves direct in Virgo, so it's around about 24 degrees in Virgo, so it is opposing Neptune and has been, and that's caused quite a lot of concern and problems, smoke and mirrors with communication and problems and things not being very, very clear, particularly with political, economic situations as well. But it does give rise to things actually becoming a little bit more forward thinking and easier to actually digest, and actually for people to communicate their ideas in an effective way that people can understand. I think this has been the big problem, is people just haven't been able to understand. So that's the first thing about going direct. That's really kind of significant. And that kind of sets everything up, because we've got planets, retrograde, Saturn, Jupiter, Mercury, as I said, Pluto, Neptune, Uranus, they're all retrograde. This is significant because on the 8th of October, the planet Pluto starts to move direct, and that's great as well. It's in Capricorn, but it is moving direct. There's later degrees in Capricorn, and certainly I feel that will help to get maybe a grip on the collective anxiety or fear that is going on about where we're all going with this, what's kind of happening with the world, where does it all land, those kind of aspects. So that's really kind of very, very strong. And I think that really comes into the area on the 9th, when we have a full moon at 16 degrees in Aries. So obviously the sun is Libra and the moon is opposite in Aries. That 16-degree mark is really poignant. Having said that, it's not a particularly strong full moon. It doesn't really connect with any other planets apart from a sextile with Saturn in Aquarius, but it doesn't really connect. And the moon is very fluctuating. Aries is quite a bold, courageous, impulsive sign. Libra is not really happy. The sun in Libra is not really particularly happy. So it's not a strong full moon. I think it's a full moon that if you do rituals or talismans, stuff like that, it's not that powerful at that time. But certainly a full moon, what it does is it kind of brings in a kind of sense of all the heightened anxiety, particularly from September, really coming to the forefront at that time. And then things start to sort of come up to the surface a bit more clearer. That really begins on the 11th of October, when Mercury re-enters into Libra, and Mercury can begin to function because it's not making that opposition with Neptune, and that's really kind of good for us all. That will certainly help clear up quite a bit that's been going on, that's been a bit kind of fuzzy, foggy, those kind of Neptunian words. So that will kind of help. And that kind of sort of that week, actually, from the 10th to the 16th, is kind of one of those weeks where I think that a lot happens very, very quickly. Not dramatic, but certainly enough to kind of make us kind of feel, oh, okay, things might be happening. The big news astrologically at the beginning of the month is that Saturn and Uranus are squaring each other at 18 degrees. Not exact, but 80, they're both at 18 degrees squaring each other at 9, that making that 90-degree angle. That's what's caused a lot of the chaos that we're experiencing. But this is kind of like for the last time. And that leads me on to the big kind of, if you want to say the key date for October, it's this one, which is the 23rd of October. The sun goes into Scorpio. That's good. You know, when the sun always moves, it changes with the seasons, and certainly, you know, the season of Scorpio is about going within. And Venus also enters into Scorpio that day. But here's the significant: Saturn goes direct. So if you're in a Saturn perfected year, if you're in a situation where stuff with work is not really kind of moving forward, this is the period when things move forward. Now, Saturn rules structures, limitations, society in a way with Jupiter. So you can begin to see that if that's moving forward, then it means that structures in society begin to move forward. That's a really key thing, because, you know, for the last 4 months, Saturn's been retrograde, and you know, that is a big thing. And I think that's a major movement that should all kind of help to kind of get us onto a better balance, and certainly just help us. After that, on the 25th, Tuesday 25th, we have a new moon at 2 degrees in Scorpio. That obviously making conjunction with the sun, but also with Venus. And even though Scorpio's a fixed sign, fixed water sign, it means that things can bubble up to the surface and be dealt with. That can mean a little bit of turbulence from a political scale, or it could mean that, you know, from a spiritual kind of sense, that we feel that our ancestors have certainly sort of given us a direction or inner guidance at that particular time. It's a very significant time. And on that 25th as well, the new moon, you've got a partial solar eclipse as well at midday. So really kind of powerful day, the 25th. Very powerful for purification, for cleansing, but also a sense of new spiritual insights. Politically, I think that's going to be turbulent that week, actually, the 24th of October. I think that's going to be a little bit turbulent. On the 28th, Jupiter re-enters into Pisces. That's really kind of significant. That's good. And then on the 29th, Mercury enters into Scorpio. But here's the big one. On the 30th of October, Mars goes retrograde, and will be retrograde till mid-January 2023 in Gemini, at 25 degrees in Gemini. So if you've got planets at 23, 24, 25 degrees, 26 degrees in either Gemini, Pisces, Virgo, or Sagittarius planets, or Sun or Moon, then this is a tricky time. But also the planet Mars is about how we internally deal with anger or assertiveness. And in Gemini particularly, it's about how we communicate with other people effectively. That's not going to make people kind of jump and go, why do you say that? Or why are you coming from that angle? So, you know, we're all kind of waiting for that. Mars retrogrades tend to be difficult to handle because, you know, society doesn't necessarily support some of the energy of Mars as well as it should. But certainly by the time we get to the end of the month, we're in a period where suddenly things are moving forward and things are clearing up. Or not clearing up, but there's a sense of maybe knowing where we're all going. That we may not agree with it, but at least it's some kind of vision that's going forward. At the beginning of the year, I looked at, you know, this year, and I thought September, October were the trickiest. And when we get into November and December, it certainly gets easier, and that brings us into 2023. So it is a bit of a tricky month, but it's a hangover from the basis of Saturn squaring Uranus, which is still at the end of the month, is still at the, you know, the 17, 18 degree mark. So it's still having you know, a battle in the sky by 1 degree. So, you know, that kind of plays out during the rest of the year, but gets easier as we get further into the year, November and December. So that's why I think that it's so turbulent or feels so unbalanced at times. But yeah, the 23rd, 25th, these are key dates to look out for. I think for the fixed signs, you Taurus, Leos, Scorpios, and Aquarians, I think you're having a bit of a tough time at the moment. You know, most of my clients have got those signs significantly in the chart. I think Aries and Libra will do quite well out of this month as well. I think Cancer and Capricorn as well will be signs that will do well. But the main thing is there is a vision being created, you know, and it may feel that everything's been turned upside down. It's not. What's happening is that there's a battle between tradition and this kind of maverick energy, and both of them have to complement each other for it to work. There has been integration between the two of Saturn and Uranus, and until that happens, you're going to get this turbulence. Anyway, if you like the video, press a like button, and please become a subscriber. And thank you very much for watching, and keep watching for my next video. Thank you very much.